All right, welcome to the third episode. So as you can see, we're looking pretty good. The shed is complete. Just give you an update. Ryan has been very busy. So everything is up. We have the car on the lift, so the wheels off the ground, so it doesn't hit the paint, fresh paint. More importantly, this guy. So we kept the front bumper off, as I mentioned, because I don't want it to get damaged when we're still working on the engine bay. So kind of the main plan for this episode is I have a new radiator on order, so that's going to be coming. But the main plan is to use this guy, which is an automatic ratchet, and we are going to take off this rock cover and we are going to paint it. Some of you might be wondering why this bit here is the way it is. It's actually, now can you see that clearly? That's actually all grinded down. It was actually shaved off. The reason why that was, you can actually see here in the bonnet. Yeah, I know, I'm addressing this as well. You can see here in the bonnet that there's a piece of the bonnet missing, the actual skeleton to the bonnet, and the reason why that was is because it was actually hitting this. So the idea is I'm going to take that off, clean it up, spray it, and probably just going to spray back the normal color. I'm also going to have a look at all the spark plugs when I'm there as well, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to pause it here and I'll come back in when all that's done. Wasn't too hard. Some 10mm bolts, lots of 10mm bolts actually. Seem there are some washers as well that I still have to take out of it. But this is pretty much it. Rock cover. So I need to basically wire wheel it. Will I wire wheel it, Ryan? Yes. He's camera shy. He hasn't got used to YouTube yet. I'm gonna wire wheel it down and find some sort of spray somewhere and do it. So I'll come back in when it's done. Okay, we're ready to go on the rock cover. Ryan is gonna put a light coat of grey primer on it now, and then afterwards we'll have to sand it down again, another coat, probably do a heavier coat the second time, right? Yeah. And see then where we are. Obviously, like, I've sanded this down. There's a tiny bit, you can feel the paint just a tiny bit, so we're hoping the 2 layers of primer and the sanding will sort all that out then. And if not, then we'll do another coat of primer if we need to, a third coat. We shouldn't have to, but then we're going to use some black paint as well, and then it's good to go. I probably should have just lacquered this as it is, just stick it back on, just for, what do you think of that, Ryan? Lacquer the way it is, ram it back on. Or I could actually grind it all the way down and just leave it like aluminium, shine it all up. You could just shine it all up like this. So Ryan's been busy. Some difference. Went from like oxidized aluminium to like super shiny. Actually cool. What else are you doing? Oh right, he's only doing this now. She's primered and she's ready for a bit of sanding. So that's kind of the first coat of primer. So I'll sand it down now, try and even off as much as I can. See, it's pretty much done. So there's 2 coats of primer, and I think it was either 2 or 3 coats of satin black Ryan had put onto it. Obviously it's not absolutely perfect. I'm not too worried about that. You can kind of still see the kind of rough style finish on it, but again, don't really care. It's just more of a cosmetic thing. Nobody's going to be getting off their bike to look at this under the engine bay. It's just purely for just the kind of looks, take the roughness off it. As I said, it's going to be a track car as well, and going to be a road car. No one's going to be really looking at this too much. Okay, so these are off the rock cover. As you can see, they are rusty, and these are rubber at the bottom. This is what seals the rocker cover to the head. These are actually metal on top, and as you can see, they're all fairly corroded and rusty. So what I'm using is my wire wheel, as you can see, and I'm just using this little vise solid on the bench and just taking the corrosion off them. And then what I'm going to do is just throw a bit of black paint on them and throw them back into the car. So I have a good few of them to do. It's probably going to take me a few minutes, so I'm going to go through all these now, and then I'll give you an update when I'm going to spray them black as well. We have, as I said, one coat of kind of heavy enough primer, so wait for that to dry, and then we will use some of the satin black, same as what we used on the rock cover. That's it. So now to just basically let this dry. While we were waiting on the rocker cover to dry, we've done a bit of work. Main bit of work we've done is on this stuff. So as I mentioned, we did use all the pipe work and we've updated it now, so it's all replaced from the old stuff onto the new. This is going to be running along here. We're just waiting to put the rocker cover back on to kind of tie all this back up. So kind of the next steps now is put the rock cover back on, send it all home with all the bolts, and then just tidy up the piping as well. Just one thing we did find when we were doing the piping, which was fairly interesting. I'm going to show you here now if I can properly. It's actually down in here. Can you try and get you to see this now? So you can see this pipe just here. This is one of the silicone pipes there, and that pipe was actually broken. You can see where it's actually going into the inlet manifold there, so it's kind of an L-shaped pipe. That pipe was actually broken on the car, and that would probably explain why the car wasn't really running right. It was kind of hunting a good bit, and that, I believe, has something to do with the fuel pressures. This is actually, I believe, the fuel rail that this attaches to going along here, and it was running like a dog, and now we've replaced that, which is brilliant. We've done a little bit of work down here as well. So we replaced this loop. We have this piece here, which is what this is going to attach into. So as we the rocker cover on, we'll attach that in and keep it all nice and tidy. And that's pretty much it for all the vacuum stuff. So I think there's only like 4 or 5 pipes, and that's really it. So the next steps, get the rock cover on and tune in from there. I do have an update for you guys on the radiator. I actually have it. It is in that box over there. You can see here. Show you this. This is the brand new radiator. So Brand new, out of the box. Got it off the internet. Wasn't too bad of a pricing. Cost me less than €150 delivered. I was lucky to be able to get it delivered. Came from the UK. Got it delivered from the UK then as well. I have no idea what that says. Speed something. Speed motor. The rad cap alone will add an extra 20 horsepower to the car, definitely. And that was a joke for anyone who didn't pick that bit up. Fan swap, so I need to swap the fan onto this, and what I need to actually use is some of this to put around the fan. So it's just kind of double-sided tape. It's kind of like it's going to act as a foam. So I need to put it in between. I need to put some of this stuff in between the fan and the new radiator, and that'll just kind of stop it from kind of squeezing up against the fins and stuff, because I believe that's probably what happened to the other radiator, that the fan was just too close. Excuse me, there is cable ties holding this in. So what happened was the cable ties were too tight against the fan, and it obviously damaged the radiator and started a leak. So I don't want that to happen to a brand new radiator. So this rubber here, or this kind of double-sided stuff, is going to protect it from all of that. So obviously new rad, fan, everything is secured, locked in. So now we're just going to basically put it into the car, plumb it all in, need to wire it up as well, get her looking nice, and that's it. So this one is fit for the bin. Well, it's not actually, I'll probably keep it, but this one obviously looks a lot cleaner, a lot better. And there she is. She is in, and it is looking shiny. Much better than what was there before. So I've kind of snagged everything up. So I have both brackets in. It's sitting perfectly in the boat. The brackets at the bottom of the rad as well, which is great. I do have all the pipes in. Everything is absolutely perfect. I've also made the decision that I'm going to take this off now. So this is a joiner pipe for obviously these two, but this is actually a coolant temperature sensor. So there's a little sensor built into that. That's the coolant obviously runs through here, and it's able to temperature. Obviously the wire is broken at the moment, but we'll get that fixed. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take off this entire metal piece, and I'm going to do the same thing as I done with the rocket cover. I'm going to sand it down, primer it, and spray it just to get it cosmetically looking good. I'm just going to do it in a nice satin black as well, so it'll sit nice and tidy. I'm going to use the wire wheel to rub that all down. But as you can see, sorry, just 1 second, just knock something off. As you can see, it's looking really, really good. I'm really, really happy with it. The other thing I'm actually really, really happy with as well is the size of the radiator. It's actually narrower than the other radiator, the older one that I had in it. And what I mean by narrower is in terms of kind of the width of it as it sits in. Because what I've had to do, I don't know, can you see it down there? I've had to cut from the factory the kind of sides of it out further on both sides from the factory one. But this one actually sits in much nicer, so there's going to be no more rubbing. I don't know, can I show you down here maybe? But I've had to cut these sides of it out of it. So hopefully, or sorry, not hopefully, the good news is that it actually won't hit. There's a bit of a gap there now. Can you see it? Yeah, there you go. You can see it there. So there's much more of a gap now. And what that means for the car is when the car is under pressure, you know, going around corners, whatever it is, there's obviously going to be a little bit of flex in the rad. You know, it's going to move left to right, talking maybe a centimeter left to right. But before, my rad used to rub on it. And now this new one, because of that gap, it's not going to rub. So I'm actually delighted with that, which is really good. So the next thing now is these guys are now nice and dry. So I am now going, I don't know, can you see these properly? Because they're black. That's them there. So they actually come out really, really well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fit them into the car, snag up absolutely everything on the rocket cover, get that 100%, get all the vacuum piping 100%, get all the radiator piping 100%. I just want to show you a little bit of this in the crisscross action. So this is the tool I'm using. It's I don't know what it is. Sealy, just basically 12 volt ratchet, just to give you an idea. So the idea of this guy is it's pretty much automatic. So what I need to do, basically send home all these bolts. I've got 3 bolts sent home already, just to show you. I done the center one first, it was the longest. Done one at the back, one at the front. So the main way you should be doing this, obviously in a crisscross, so I obviously done the middle. So now I'm going to start in a crisscross fashion the whole way up long, just so to make sure that the rocker cover closes evenly. The reason why I'm doing that, if you start up the very back and work your way to the front, there's a probability that the back, there might be a bit of a gap at the front because the back is down so tight. So what you should always do is try and start in the middle and work your way outwards to all the corners basically. So, and I'll do that one. So what I'll probably do is start this one here. So you just till it's tight, small little squeeze. And what I'll do is I will give it another little squeeze when I'll go around them all when I'm finished. So I'll just give them one little small little squeeze. You don't need to be really tight on these. So you know, as long as they're hand tight, that should be sufficient. So that's pretty much it. I made a small boo-boo. So as you can see, this is my thing. So this bolt was down in here, which was absolutely fine. The bolt was just kind of doing nothing. But this was my coolant temperature sensor. I don't know, can you see it on the camera? But it completely snapped off, which basically means this is now banjaxed. So now I need to get a new coolant temperature sensor. Doesn't mean I can't start the car. No, not really, but I definitely want to have this in it before I kind of put coolant in the car and stuff like that. It kind of does mean I have cleaned up this metal piece. Obviously I've used a wire wheel on it, so I've kind of got all the rust off it. So just gonna rough it up with a bit of sandpaper to roughen up the surface of it, so the primer will stick to it. Basic color primer, a couple of coats of black, that'll have that fine. But I don't want to do any of that till I have a new one of these. I potentially could have one of these lying around. I'll have to ask Ryan. Please God I do. If I do, great. I can slap it back in there. Grand. I'll be 100% happy. If not, I will have to order one of these, which is going to slightly delay everything. I could potentially put the pipe back in and then just screw this on afterwards, but I don't really want to do that. I kind of want to get it all done before that. But what can you do? This is life of working on cars. Things break. So yeah, we'll just work it out. Ryan has gone out. He's gone doing shopping. So when he is back, I will ask him and we'll see where we'll go from there. So I'll update you guys accordingly. I'm just going to finish off cleaning off this a little bit more. Clean off the bottom of it as well, sand it down, have it ready to go. And yeah, I'll update you guys when we know a bit more. Boom. This is it. So I just threw this top on it, just it's not screwed down or anything, just threw it on for cosmetic reasons, just to show you guys what it's going to be like. But yeah, I'm really impressed with it. Well, I'm happy with it, not impressed. So I put on all these kind of breathing pipes back onto it. But yeah, look, I think it's perfect for what I wanted. Cosmetically, it looks brilliant. There it is with the radiator as well. Let's take that out of the way. So there it is with the radiator as well. So I am really happy. It's starting to come along really well. So I kind of ran this pipe I was telling you about. These kind of breather pipes. So this guy needs to go into that guy there. This wiring system kind of goes in here. I've tucked it down under here and back up again. It doesn't actually go down there. I don't know. There is one of these black clips that are meant to go in. Can't find a hole for it. I think standard on the 180s there is a fan cowl. I think that's where it actually clips into. I'm not 100% to be straight up with you, but yeah, so I'm just gonna leave all this for now because I want Ryan's second opinion on it. Obviously he's good with piping and vacuuming. I just want to make sure I don't want to cut anything. I don't want to send anything home until he has a look over it. So it's literally less than a 5-minute job anyway for him. So I might as well just leave it for him just to kind of do it 100%. So at least then it's done and it can't go wrong. Well, fingers crossed. And that's it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish off putting in all the coil packs. Going to bolt this down. I have to bolt in the coil packs as well. And yeah, that was it. The other thing I remembered I wanted to show you was the actual rocker cover gasket. You just need to make sure that when you are putting down your rocker cover back on and you're screwing all down, that your rocker cover gasket is sitting correctly. And I've had a good look over this and it is sitting correctly. And that's really it. So, as I said, this piece was damaged. Nothing I can do about it now. Hopefully Ryan has another piece for me that I can put into it. If not, I'll have to order it. And that's pretty much it. So that is going to be the end of the third video. And this car, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're seeing the transformation and you're enjoying the transformation same way I am. The car is looking 100 times more better, which is obviously a really, really big plus. And I hope you're enjoying it. Please, if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. There is going to be loads more videos that's going to be coming up. As I said, in part 4, we are going to be fixing that pipe for the radiator. We are going to be fitting this oil cooler as well. And what I'm going to do now, just give you a sneak peek on kind of the next video that we're going to be doing. Let me just pause it here for a minute and I'll bring you outside. Probably do short video on this as well. This is a friend's car, it's not my car. Again, Sr20 S14 Sylvia. Has a few war wounds, same as mine. And this has, well, we don't know if we fixed it or not. We're waiting to find out whether the turbo is fixed on it. The oil return line or pipe was kinked and was obviously stopping oil from going back into the sump from the turbo. And of course, then it started pushing it out through the turbo, which is never a good thing. And yeah, so this is, I'm going to do a small video on this whenever my friend comes down. Jason, actually, if you're watching this, you need to come down and do your car. I know he does watch, he's one of my subscribers. So you need to come down and do your car, Jason, because everybody is waiting for you now to do it. I have one last surprise for you guys. This. I'm selling this car as well. I'll do a video on that, and there's also that one there. So I'll do loads of videos on it for you guys. So that's it. Hope you liked the video. If you liked the video, please hit that like button. Also subscribe and just keep your notifications turned on because you want to see the next steps in this video. And that's really it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.